Why is PSG always in crisis? We are not even in the middle of an active season, and the negative PR that's surrounding this club is palpable. At the very least, the Lionel Messi hate train, which is a crazy sequence of words, has come to a close following his move to Miami. But at the same time...
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Bruh, these Saudis are really out here just playing real-life career mode. This is sickening. The player and the club that keep on giving are at it yet again. Kylian Mbappé, probably the face of the current generation of world footballers, is rinsing this whole football thing for all that it has. You have to respect it. PSG, on the other hand, have dug themselves into a hole. We'll get into it in a bit. We also have Neymar refusing to leave and laughing at anyone that thinks he's giving up the bag. For anyone that thinks that this man is going to give up a guaranteed $700K per week contract that only expires in 2025 just because these guys are a little upset, well, I've got news for you. Something tells me that even protests outside my guy's house aren't gonna be enough to sway him and his pops. There are already stories floating about the new head coach, Luis Enrique, being ready to disregard the wishes of his new bosses. It's a whole thing. As always, when it comes to talking about PSG, we're all left discussing what happens off the pitch as opposed to what's happening on the grass. It's a common occurrence when it comes to these boys, unfortunately. At the same time, I'm here for it, and if you clicked on this video, so are you. Welcome back to Keeping Up with PSG. Yo, what's going on everyone? Really hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe, welcome back to another video. The same way you guys are praising PSG for giving you unlimited amounts of entertainment, I'm praising them for helping me out with my rent this month. Again. Cheers, guys. I've talked about how this club makes me question what's real and what isn't in the past. As a matter of fact, the day after I posted this video, it came out that the coach at the time, Christophe Galtier, was apparently a known racist since his St. Etienne days. A huge accusation, but the kind we've grown to expect from Romain Molina. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This dude better be in some bunker in Antarctica. I fear for his safety every day. As this is the largest club in all of France, it shouldn't be surprising that drama and expectations follow them into each season. The season coming up is no different. They've lost Messi and could yet lose more talent, but still, they're making some good additions. Those more defensive-minded players and positions that have let them down in the past have been given some attention. Manuel Ugarte, Milan Skriniar, and Lucas Hernandez are some of the already announced new faces. If we all remember, their back line was hit with an injury crisis to rival the worst of them last season during crunch time. Perhaps this won't be as big of an issue this time around. They've brought in high-profile coach Luis Enrique. Hard to go wrong with a treble-winning coach and one of the greatest Twitch streamers of all time, I'd say. Although, let's see if I'm still saying that come this time next year. Let's move on to the juice. I guess we can start with the smaller of these stories. Neymar. This is a small story because we all know that nothing was ever going to come of the constant calls for him to be sold. This is the same guy that, when faced with fan abuse last year, said, "I'm here for 3 more years. So stop booing or you'll need more air." We know that he's past the point of caring what fans think, as he's pretty consistently liking posts that badmouth the club in one way or another. Although, if we really take some time to deep this situation, Neymar is probably the 3rd most famous and popular footballer of the past 10 years, so he probably has a team that manages his social media accounts, right? Which, if that's the case, then they stay sneak dissing PSG and Neymar stays giving the green light, which is a scenario that tickles me quite a bit, actually. I'm just imagining on the daily his social team just suggests slander and he just gives the thumbs up. Honestly, this guy will remain divisive at this club right up until the day that he leaves. I'm convinced that his performances actually won't even make much of a difference. He plays badly, the banners come out. He plays well, he could have done more. He's on fire and starts hitting defenders with sombreros, and all of a sudden, he's an annoying little nuisance. He can't win. But I guess that comes with the territory of being so highly renowned. Ironically, out of the big 3 of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, it could very well be Neymar that ends up staying at PSG and leading the line for the foreseeable future. They could end up relying on him far more than they want to, which is a shame because he spends the majority of his time on the nursing bed. Although, if it makes PSG Ultras feel a little bit better, they should know that for the foreseeable future, when they go and protest outside his house, that, assuming he's home, of course, he's probably going to be having the worst CSGO game of his life. Either that, or he's in Brazil for his sister's birthday or something like that. The part about being highly renowned and divisive definitely applies to Kylian Mbappé. Different circumstances, of course, but this guy is receiving his fair share of hate and his fair share of praise, all at the same time. In a shock turn of events, the player that was using every bit of leverage that he could possibly muster to secure one of the craziest contracts in sports history still has plenty of leverage left to either secure an even bigger one or simply just get what he wants. How Mbappé has managed his career should be studied in universities, I swear. How to rinse a football club 101. This is a trick that 10 out of 10 clubs hate. When Mbappé signed his insane extension in 2022, I think it was pretty obvious to everybody that was watching on that there would be issues in the future. When you give a 23-year-old a 72 million euro plus per year contract plus a 100 million euro signing on bonus in that same deal, you're kind of showing your hand in a pretty extravagant way. Of course, add in the fact that it was a 2-year contract with an option to extend for a 3rd year, and you realize how limited PSG's bargaining power actually was. That much money for such a short-term contract. It's wild. And the real kicker in all of this is that Mbappé himself is the one that has the final say when it comes to extending the contract or not, something that's usually left in the hands of the club. Long story short, his current contract runs until 2024, with the extension will run until 2025. He's already minted, but the chances of him winning big at PSG versus other clubs in Europe are slim. Plus, if he goes to other clubs, he will still be making boatloads, so I don't know if money is the real motivator at this point. At least the money he could be making in Europe, that is. Mbappé has decided not to renew. Shocking, I know. Although it's not as bad as you think, he is still committed to PSG and has said multiple times that he wishes to see the season through to the best of his abilities. Only problem is that means he leaves next season for free. This would be a catastrophe for PSG. The issue here isn't just that he's the best player in the world. It isn't even the fact that they bought him for 180 million euros back in 2018. It's the fact that this Ninja Turtle will be very publicly pulling their pants down yet again. Tough days for the boys in Paris. PSG's stance is simple. Extend by the 31st of July, or else it's a hard stance. It's too bad they don't have much of a say in the matter though, right? Obviously, this has caused a ton of tension between the various parties involved, but it's important to note that tensions were bubbling for some time. Mbappé is the closest to an untouchable that any employee could possibly be. No doubt that this has caused quiet unrest in the dressing room. Of course, it doesn't help that he filmed an interview in June claiming that the club had perhaps reached a ceiling in their European performances and that, because of that, those who were put in charge of building the team have some explaining to do. It's essentially an "I'm not the problem" kind of statement. And you know what? Is he wrong? Listen, there's a reason why Mbappé is frequently labeled as the best player in the world. The Ligue 1 Player of the Year, 4 years in a row, Golden Boy in 2017, and also, hat-trick scorer in a World Cup final, nerves of steel. The guy has it. He's got the juice. Sure, he may not track back as much as many would like him to, but that is low on PSG's list of on-field problems. Anyway, we're now left with an important question, and that question is, what must happen now? Mbappé wants to stay for only 1 year. Doesn't seem like there's much that PSG can do about it. Sure, they could leave him on the bench and try and make him suffer a little bit, but who in their right mind is benching the best player in the world? Imagine losing 1-0 to Reims or something. Meanwhile, the highest scorer in the history of your club is sat on the bench. Impossible. This isn't happening. It's just not. Luis Enrique has apparently already gotten into some heat with the higher-ups about that. Man's firm that if Mbappé stays, Mbappé plays. First sensible decision made at the Parc des Princes in a while. Saudi Arabia are ready to pay Mbappé the GDP of a small country, a bid that's got every athlete reconsidering their choice of sport. I think Giannis could do a job, Get him in. Putting this into perspective, it's usually believed that North American athletes earn more than European footballers. which I believe has mostly been true historically. But here's a list, courtesy of Front Office Sports on Twitter, comparing some of the biggest pay packages, franchises, net worths, and more. It's mad. Although the man doesn't want to leave Europe and would rather eat bench than go Saudi, which is fair enough. If Messi and Ronaldo are anything to go by, Mbappé will be offered the same, if not more, in 10 years by Saudi or whoever it is that's splashing cash at that point. Even still, it's such a ludicrous amount of money that we can't definitively rule it out. I could never be trusted with that amount of money. I'd probably buy something stupid like an NFT or something. Anyway, not sure if that deal's going through. Spurs, on the other hand, which brings us to Real Madrid. Yeah, Mbappé might have blueballed them and used their name to secure the bag, but let's be real, they'll still take him. It's like the toxic girl who's been in a relationship but is still flirting with you like crazy. You know that she's toxic, but she's the best. And the best player, the best football player in the world, Mbappé, Kylian Mbappé. That's who we're talking about. No one else. Can Real Madrid afford Mbappé? We hear all the talk about what they've already spent. 100 M's on Bellingham, several hundred more on their stadium renovations. Whatever, man. Listen here. If Mbappé becomes available, they will rearrange their funds to make it happen. Honestly, anything could happen. He could go, he could stay, whatever it is. All I know is that when it comes to reporting on this whole situation,
we'll be there.
Do you care though?
We will be there.
PSG?
We will be there. We'll be there.
Good luck.
And there we have it. Let me know what you guys think about Mbappé and this craziness. Feel free to follow all the socials. All the links are in the description. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.